Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. Whew, we missed Tuesday. It's my fault. I'm so sorry. It's Bell the Birdmen. I'm John Barchard. That is Vince Quinn along with Taylor Kredatus. Of course, we are traveling to go see the New York Football Giants. I guess that's why I accidentally wore the, what do you call this again? Cornflower blue? Whatever they said in Fight Club. So it's more an homage to that, not my New York Giants, which we'll certainly get into. Vince Quinn, what's on your mind in the December chilly coat-wearing day? That was not good, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're trying to say. First off, I'll take some responsibility for Tuesday as well. It's a team effort, and I was completely shot. So it is what it is. But
yeah, Carrie was down with an ear infection, 3 kids. There was no hope for me either. So we tried. We really tried, but we're going to pack in a lot of good stuff today.
Yeah, so I couldn't respond to basic questions from Dana. So I was just like, wait, what was that? She's like, are you all right? So I was like, no, I'm going to bed at 9:45. That's what I'm going to do. So
because we need there's going to be a lot of beef and a lot of beer and stuff on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
PhillySportsTrips.com/Bell, by the way, if you haven't booked that ticket yet. I believe there are still some room for you at the tailgate. We're going to give out Elio's pizza once again, so just throwing that out there. But Vince Quinn has been saying some awful great things about the Dallas Cowboys, and this isn't like the old Eagles trope for me. It's like, oh, everything Dallas does sucks, and they're way better than I thought they would be. I thought they were going to collapse. The NFC East is way better than I thought it was going to be. So no one's playing tag except for everybody in the AFC West or NFC West. So you have been watching the Cowboys games religiously?
Don't put it religiously. I had an afternoon where I mainlined Dallas games.
Now I know why you were tired and upset.
And why I hated myself and my body shut down. Yes, that is what happened. I watched a couple of straight games from Dallas, every single play, just getting a feel for exactly what's been going on in all these games. How good do they look? That team's really fucking good right now. I mean, this is the best I've ever seen from Dallas since, I don't know, they went 13-3 in 2006 with T.O. Like, it's phenomenal what they're doing. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles are you love everything that they're doing because they're dominant on both sides of the ball. What do we yell about all the time? Coaching. And I think the single biggest difference between Dallas this year and every other year, going back to 2013 or that 13-3 season, coaching. I never thought I'd say this. Watch that team. If you don't want to tell me this is the best coached Dallas team I've ever seen in my lifetime, without a doubt.
I'm just saying it ain't the head coach.
No.
It's probably Dan Quinn. It's probably everybody else on the offensive side. Kellen Moore, obviously. But it's not. Don't tell me best coach or whatever.
It is the best coached Dallas team I have ever seen.
Okay, that makes sense.
It is the best coached Dallas team.
And you missed the Jimmy Johnson stuff mostly, right?
I was. Okay. I mean, I was like 5.
Just making sure because I was like, best coached Dallas team. There's going to be a lot of people that yell at you. It's okay.
I
get it.
My football brain turned on because I was old enough to start understanding things in like 98, 99. I was born in 89, so like.
But regardless,
time.
It's hot heat. What are they doing? What are they doing that's wowing you outside of that? It's just like because I see stat sheets. I don't have time to rewatch every freaking Cowboys game. Yeah, certainly. But I keep these Dak interceptions keep popping up and all that stuff. So it's
funny that you say that. In my opinion, Dak is the worst part of that offense. Right now, he is the number one thing that he just makes.
Well.
It's crazy. He makes some awful throws, awful decisions. And part of this, I think, is the Jalen experience of watching him all the time and seeing how efficient and smart he is consistently. You see a ball that's just thrown into double coverage or it's a terrible pass from Dak, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, that doesn't – it's like when you watch the process Sixers and they'd play like a really good basketball team, you'd be like, wow, this is a whole other sport. Like, you'd have these like – oh, yeah, it's different for other teams in other cities. Watching Dak make some bad decisions like that with an offense that's that good, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, could have freaking called that one. That's exciting to me. You're not making me feel like the Cowboys are a threat. I mean, I just heard Ezekiel Elliott last week say, you know what, it's just better that Tony Pollard gets the ball before I do. And I'm going, what? And not to be like surprised, I'm not surprised by it. I'm just saying,
I'm surprised by that.
How on earth can anyone be scared of that when one of the most dominant cap hits is saying I'm not even effective anymore?
Well, think
Explain
about
this
that
to me.
to Dallas's credit, though. You're getting a guy that everybody's labeled as a bad guy and an asshole. Like that, everybody.
that's
if
still
you ask,
true, by the way.
and maybe it is. I've never known Zeke. I don't fucking know. But you're getting that guy to now say, yeah, the guy that's going to inevitably take my job after this year, and I will be out of here. He deserves the ball more. Like, that's maturity. It just is.
I
whether
guess,
you
but
like it or not.
how is that now presenting to me? Like, that's it. So you just said the guy that handles the football the most is the most mistake person on their offense, which makes me feel great. Ezekiel Elliott, who is clearly no longer in his prime, which I didn't even think I would be able to say, is not going to like move the needle. Two very important players on the Cowboys look like they're old, playing like they're old, hurt, whatever it is, even though they're not. And I'm looking at the other side of offenses. I'm going, what is to debate here? What is to debate here? What, CeeDee Lamb is suddenly going to make me feel all weird and like, what is how can I feel threatened by the Cowboys at this point in time? How can anyone feel like this is such a huge, massive juggernaut that you got to be worried about? No, you don't.
Oh, I totally disagree. I've never respected Dallas this much. Because I'm with you a lot of times. It's like, oh, big bad Dallas. They win 10 games, 11 games, whatever. And then they get to the playoffs and they implode. They did it last year.
Yes.
So it's surprising to look at this coaching staff, which is why I thought they were cooked and this season was totally over for them and they were just withering out the window and Mike McCarthy would get fired. He's not going anywhere. Because
Great.
Which could be great if it means that Dan Quinn gets hired somewhere else and Kellen Moore gets hired somewhere else and their head coaches in other places, then yeah, I think we're cooking again. But for right now, they got something really good going on. I mean, looking at some of the basic numbers, their offense is third in the league. Eagles are second. It's right there. Their defense is third in the league. Eagles are seventh. They have the most sacks in the NFL right now. Like, they're a very aggressive unit. They're physical everywhere. I mean, this team, if I was to describe Dallas on the simplest level, they are absolutely relentless. This team will beat the shit out of you. They will attack you constantly. They will throw the ball down the field. They'll run you over, break tackles. They're blitzing. Like, it's just constant. You're being swarmed by hyenas constantly. And that's hard. It's hard to play against when the talent's good.
Of course it is. The Cowboys have drafted great talent, especially on the defensive side, for years. For the last few years. That's why they're such a great football team. They have stacked everywhere pretty much for what linebacker it basically is between all that. Yes, it probably looks and feels like that 13-3 team, a team in which, went downhill after that. The same type of thing when Dak Prescott's in here. I think they're 13-3 again. They're going to play the Packers at home and lose to an epic field goal there. How am I supposed to get so threatened and fired up by this Cowboys team where we know what's coming? I'm going to bet on, and it's not just the history I'm betting on, they're missing things. And this is kind of like the OBJ parade it solidified all of that. It's made me feel so much more comfortable. How the fuck do you roll out the red carpet for OBJ? Then all of a sudden flip all of that. You have all these players yip-yapping saying, bring OBJ, bring OBJ. And then all of a sudden go, actually, his ACL still fucked up 12 hours later publicly in a radio interview. You need OBJ. That's what it felt like from the locker room saying, like, hey, yeah, we need that little extra firepower because that's what we're missing, and we're behind on this. And, they know this is a squeeze. The cap hell that's waiting for the Cowboys, I believe, is still not great after this year as well. So, if this is it and they take this train and they end up beating an 11-1 Philadelphia Eagles team or whatever their record is by the time that they see them in the playoffs, I don't know how they escape to get to the NFC Championship game. I don't. There's too many things that could happen along the line. Too many things, and history is on my side.
Well, history's definitely on your side, and that's why I went into this, because everybody, when it blew up after this week, especially beating the Colts up, it was like, okay, there's a lot of hype around this team. Is it actually worth it? It's probably not. So I went into it with the mindset of, oh, this team's totally overhyped. I'm so impressed. I'm just so impressed, and it's all over the place. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is an absolute bona fide superstar. There's no doubt
100%.
about it. But you look at some of the other things around the team. I mean, even random guys like the tight ends. They're always good with tight ends, right? I didn't know who the hell Peyton Hendershot really was, but I watch him and I'm like, oh, that guy's pretty good. He's a solid role player. Like, he makes a couple of passes, he beats people up in the running game. It's just a good thing to see. Like, they've just got talent in so many different places. It's coming from everywhere. And the other element too that is undeniable, and we saw it when the Eagles played the Cowboys before, their special teams is great.
Oh, wow.
It matters when you come on, man. Like, if you're gonna have you seen Kavonte Turpin on returns?
If you're down to special teams in a game, you did something wrong offensively or defensively.
No, not necessarily.
Always.
Look, it's if you can get a guy that's that dynamic in the return game the way that he is, where I'm routinely seeing this guy return the ball for like 30 yards. 40 yards. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a whole first down's worth of yardage. Like,
Vince Quinn, you are stretching me thin here, man. Special team returner is going to make the edge in an important playoff game against these guys.
They're pretty equal, all things considered. They're
not equal.
They are equal right now.
A.J. Brown dominates CeeDee Lamb. Would fucking take his skull and put it in there and say,
bullshit.
Get on my level.
No.
Yes, he would.
He would. He's not that much better.
He is
no, he's
that
not.
much better. There is guys that can be top 5. CeeDee Lamb could be. He is not close to it right now. He needs another year. But
no, he doesn't.
The dominance of what A.J. Brown can do, CeeDee Lamb cannot. Full stop. And that might be his athletic body or whatever it is. I don't care. I don't have to worry about that. They don't have a number 2 like Devontae Smith next to him. Plus, Dallas Goedert's going to be healthy. And if you try and fucking shove Dalton Schultz down my throat, I'm going to laugh hysterically.
Which I will not.
That team, shot for shot, talent-wise, does not match what the Eagles have. It doesn't matter when it comes to the playoffs. It doesn't matter when, regular season, great, everybody will hoot and holler about it. When it comes down to it, that Eagles team has more depth, more everything, and it's got fucking Reed Blankenship and a bunch of guys in the secondary that are hanging out and being okay. They keep, the Diggs thing he is going to absolutely get burnt by AJ if he is tracking him on that side. All of the comeback routes that he wants to jump, it's Devontae too. Like, it's an easy secondary to manipulate versus the front seven, and which is so aggressive and so awesome. It's easy to manipulate on the other side. And Cowboys fans will tell you so much differently. All of the time.
Well, they have a reason to. Like, did the Eagles blow out the Cowboys in the first game of the year when they played?
No. It's a completely different team from this there, too, and so is Dallas.
Oh, great. Yeah, and then Cooper Rush out there. I'm just saying, like, look, you look at Dallas across the board. Their offensive line has played a lot better than I thought. The guys have grown. Like, right side of the line is really strong. Steele's been out there at work. So, like, they have a really good line right now. They're not starting Jason Peters, which they were going to have to do at the start of the year. That is not the case. So, the offensive line is good. Michael Gallup is really good. He missed some games. Like, the wide receiver.
Gallup is really good.
Oh, dude, have you?
Yes, I have been watching.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, he's on my fantasy team, and I flex him out.
Whether or not his numbers are good for fantasy, he's a really good receiver. The guy is a very talented.
Paying attention.
He is a high-level number 2 wide receiver. The guy's really. I'm a big Michael Gallup fan.
It's still yes. If you're trying to tell me that Slay and Bradbury can't handle those guys, I'm all ears.
Well, they can handle those guys, but
what the fuck are we talking about?
I can't go into a game expecting them to erase those guys.
Not saying that they're going to erase them either. But, like, I'm just saying, if this conversation is about you should feel scared about the Cowboys, and everyone, including ESPN, is trying to tell me that, and I'm going, same shit every year. You're waving the flag for OBJ because you're terrified that you're going to get your ass kicked and have to go, like, excuse Dak's play again for, like, the millionth time in a row, which, by the way, I still think he got treated unfairly there, too. They're going to flip on him. They're going to demand a new quarterback, and that's what's going to happen. This is going to end in disappointment for the Dallas Cowboys for the 26th fucking year. We're going to have the same conversation the next year or 2 years down the road. It's the same Cowboys, different haircut, fucking same person. Jerry Jones is not changing ever, fucking ever.com. This is it. His legacy was built on the largest fucking lopsided trade in NFL history, and that is it. He has not built anything other than PR, flash dancing, and saying, I'm smarter than every fucking one else, and he's screwing up a 4th-round pick quarterback, which he hit on. It reminds me a lot of his buddy, Dan fucking Snyder. He's just the pricier version of it, and he's just as terrible at his job. That's it. He just doesn't want to look bad, ever, and so He puts up the Jerry wall every single time, and that's why Vince Quinn and Ben and everybody else gets so we can't believe that the Eagles are a good team anymore because the Cowboys are a threat.
Where does that come from me? Where have I said that the Eagles aren't a good team anymore?
It just filters right into it.
No.
That's all.
I've said this is the best roster in the NFC. I've said it all year. That's where they still are. But the main difference is that as much as they are the best roster in the NFC, Dallas is too. It's right there, and their coaching's better right now. It is.
The coaching's better than what?
The Eagles.
The Dallas Cowboys coaching is better than the Eagles right now?
Right now,
I
absolutely.
can't even agree to
There
that.
is no doubt in my mind that right now, over the last month or so that I've been watching everything super close, especially with Dallas, their coaching is better right now. I mean, look, the Eagles blew out the Vikings, right? They totally did. But for Dallas, that game was a laugher at halftime. And then 5 minutes into the third quarter, you could put the backups into the rest of the way. That game was like 37-3.
I'm sorry, is this college fucking football?
It was when they played the Vikings. It was.
Oh, okay. Is this a BCS where we've got to the Dallas Cowboys blew out the Colts and the Eagles only won by 1 point, but the Eagles did beat the Packers and the Packers beat the Cowboys. So who cares? Who gives
That's what we've argued about the last 3 weeks, right? What is this empty feeling? Why is this team not as great as we thought? 'Cause they're not blowing the doors off of everybody.
That's on the Eagles, not anyone around the NFC and not anyone around the AFC.
Dallas is doing that.
Oh, my God.
They're doing that.
My own eyes told me that there is an issue with the offense with Goddard in it and Goddard out of it, and I'm still pointing at the OC, and suddenly Marcus Brady gets hired, and it's a little better in 2 weeks. So, yes, okay. Kellen Moore is without a doubt a better offensive coordinator than Shane Steichen. I'll give you that. Done.
Yeah.
Outside of that, who cares?
What do you mean, who cares? They're a talented team. They're coached really well. Their defense they don't have the same turnover rate, but turnovers are part luck. They've got more sacks than the Eagles do.
The Cowboys could possibly beat the Eagles on December 24th, which I fully agree with. And I'm probably making that the second loss of the season, even though I didn't call the Titans right. But great. So if they lose and you want to panic yourself for the next couple of weeks into the playoffs that you might see them again there, even though they're going to get bounced out in the fucking first round again, what do you want me to do, Vince? Respect them more?
That's all I'm saying.
The Cowboys more. Congratulations, Jerry. I fucking respect you a little bit more because I was wrong on how bad your head coach was going to be this year. You win, buddy. Congratulations. Tip of the hat. Now what do you want, Vince Quinn?
Well, yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. That's it. All I'm saying is Dallas is just as good as the Eagles. You should respect them just as much as them right now.
I will not accept that statement.
Why not?
You just made me fight again. They are not just as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe by the numbers they are, but you can tell when you've watched more Cowboys games than I have, so I've got to bow down and say, okay, you've watched the tape and you've done your work, but I guarantee you I would have the same opinion if I did too. If you're telling, you just said Dak Prescott's the one fucking up the offense.
He's the worst part of the offense right now, there's no doubt, but Dak Prescott is still pretty good.
I still love Dak Prescott even though he's wearing the wrong uniform. I love that man. The most undervalued quarterback outside of Jalen Hurts. 100%. Jalen Hurts is way better than fucking Dak Prescott will ever be. That's the difference. Do you understand that Jerry Jones panicked so much and every Eagles fan in the world wanted CeeDee Lamb? They wanted CeeDee Lamb. Do you want that world right now? Fucking I don't. I do not want that world. That pick was for Jalen Hurts and everybody screamed about it. And you know what Jerry did? He wanted Jalen down there too. Everyone forgets that. He wanted to punt fucking Dak Prescott out of there, go draft Jalen Hurts, and not have an issue with his cap. They would be 3 in a row of hitting quarterbacks if they win that. And how he snatched his fucking soul, and look at the beautiful thing that he built. Not worried. Today, next year, the year after that, and so on and so on. The Cowboys will have their flashes and their chances because they're too damn talented. They will never put it together as long as Jerry's the owner. Full stop. That's it. I mean, I can no longer dive into this pool for you that you have to respect the Cowboys. No, I do fucking not.
And if that's how it's going to be, look, history is history. And Jerry Jones, the problems of Jerry Jones, he is the number one thing that has made that team great and bad at the same time. Like, he's always had high expectations. I imagine with the scouting department, there's been all sorts of shuffling over the years, but what they do is magic consistently. They've always had great talent. But yeah, he meddles with things too much. He's one of the coaches he can control. It's held them back. It's ruined the team. It's caused all sorts of problems. Jerry is the biggest problem. But God damn, I mean, if they were ever going to have a shot, this is the year. This is it. I don't know what else you could ask for.
I just can't tell you how many times I've heard that line. I can't tell you, Vince Quinn. You're not there yet, I don't think. This is the gap between seeing the 90s Cowboys and this, right? This is the age gap between us.
Well, it's certainly been a gap because I've never seen a team this good.
What's the difference between this season and last season?
What's it,
like performance-wise?
Coaching. I mean, in terms of the numbers, I don't have the exact numbers and what the differences are, but just looking at
looked a little lost.
I mean, first off, their pass rush is even better. Like they're leading the league in sacks. They got 48 sacks already. So like defensively, just everything is on a higher level right now. So Dan Quinn, he's just mastered it. And then offensively, there's enough variety in terms of what they're doing. Like I once in a while when we talk about the offense for the Eagles, it's like, how are you hitting all these different levels, right? You want short passing, long passing, medium passing, run game, read options, like all these different things that you can do to keep teams on their heels. Dallas is pretty balanced in that way. So, like, the variety of the play calling, the different ways that they're hitting you and making you defend, it's not a very simple offense. It's not they can only do one thing. They can beat you multiple ways. So how do you defend that? Like, they're actually getting the most out of the talent right now, which is the shocking thing, because I thought they had no chance to do any of that.
They've always done that. They have gotten every ounce, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The unit that which you're inferring has been great. They have always developed good talent on that side. And some of them don't make it to the second contract. And generally, this is where I'll give the Cowboys credit, they do a good job of not signing those guys. They do a really good job of just, you're just okay. You know, I don't know if Awuzie and how people feel about that. He's playing with the Bengals. He's doing pretty good. But outside of that, like, yeah, and if you're going to play defensive football, and that's your strength, Vince Quinn, and you're telling me the offense, and their offense is nowhere near as powerful as their defense.
Cowboys offense?
In my opinion right now, absolutely. There is more ability on the other side of the ball than the offense is right now. Because of what we just said, all the offensive line problems that they've just gone through. Jason Peters now being out of the lineup. Like, the offense can struggle a lot of the time. Tony Pollard, don't let him touch the football. That's pretty much how you beat the Cowboys. It's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over again. Dak Prescott made me make some mistakes. He is so good against the Eagles. He is. So, like, yes, all these things have been true. That's all. All these things have been true. They are not new facts.
I've never seen it like this. This is not a
better Cowboys team than to my. I think. I don't really know the differences between last year's team and this year's team. And if you're telling me that this year's team is better than the one that won the division,
yeah,
it makes me feel even better.
No, this one is definitely. I mean, first off, the Eagles team is definitely better than the one last year by a mile. I don't think that's really close, but
yeah.
But man, I mean, Dallas, they put up a lot of points pretty consistently.
All right, 215-509-5833. Jump into the Discord, bellandthebirdmen.com. Am I just like, am I poo-pooing this too much like we did in the beginning of the season? I'm just, whatever.
I know.
Whatever, man.
I get it. I totally get it. But I just, man, I'm stunned.
You know what it is? It's probably because, again, I am doing a terrible job of drinking water on a daily basis because we do have so much stuff going on. If you notice it, like, I've got really bad coffee pee-pee in like the last like 3 or 4 days because of everything that's happening at the house and just, job work, you know that good stuff. So I just want to tell you, I know it seems ridiculous because for me personally, I have so much trouble just going to the fucking sink and going into the water bottle and putting a 64 or 32 ounce thing next to me, like, keep drinking this. Liquid Death in my fridge. I'm pounding those things left and right. Less coffee pee-pees. 16.9 ounce can, fully cold, like you're grabbing a soda, except it's just wonderful water. And I forgot to, once again, stop at the 320 market here on media. So just go to liquiddeath.com/bell to see where you can get a case of Liquid Death, mostly because it's delicious. It's one of the best things that you could buy for yourself because it is water. And it murders your thirst. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say here, Vince Quinn. If I had a little more water, I'd be a little more calm today.
I could use some more water, man. My mouth is getting dry from yelling at you. So,
well, let's yell at each other a little bit about this too, because we're heading to the game. We've had some time off from being at away games. We are undefeated on the road. Taylor keeps telling me that, the Eagles struggle on the road. They have every single game. I don't think they've covered on the road yet.
Just the Carson game.
Carson game. That's right. Week 3. So I said blowout on the last episode because that Giants tie really woke me up in terms of like what you're going to be able to do against the Giants defense and stuff like that. Is this Giants team the same, better, or worse than the Titans team that they just played?
Worse.
Much worse? I think they're the same team almost.
It's pretty damn close. I think they're worse.
I think they're a slightly better version than the Titans. Just because of the defense, it's young, Wink's a little better on that side, in my opinion. So why wouldn't there be a blowout here? Like they're on a high. They just crushed the Titans. I would assume the Giants are going to play them relatively the same. What can you do? That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to do against Jalen Hurts? Each game you walk into, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to drop 7 like Wink likes to do and have 7 DBs out there? Fine, he's going to run for 9 yards a clip. Okay, you want to play tight? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the same stuff. I feel great about this being a Washington-esque blowout because they're due. It's a divisional opponent, and they feel good about themselves. Plus, you get Devontae back, maybe, question mark.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about the Giants is, like, their best ability is to do things off schedule or not even off schedule. It would be out of structure, right? Like, Daniel Jones can just run when shit goes bad.
That's right.
And he's good at it. I mean, he's a really good athlete. He can move. So
it's a bunch of wild cards.
Yeah, like that's really what it is. Wild cards for sure. That whole team is wild cards. And that's why, like, this whole season we've been talking about this team all year because you've been such a big believer. And they were kicking ass early in the year. But, man, the last couple of weeks, it's really, woo.
Yeah, you guys are right. They just don't. The talent's not there.
Right?
The talent's just not there.
It's not there. Their coaching is phenomenal, though, too.
Outstanding.
So you got to give them all the credit in the world for that. But, yeah, like, at this point, they've been losing a lot of games. It's been slowing down a lot. They've had some injuries. Like, Wan'Dale Robinson was a rookie slot wide receiver for them.
Like, really good potential, too.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome. Amazing. I love watching that guy. He's really fun. But you know what? He tore his ACL a couple of weeks ago. He's gone. So, like, ultimately, I don't think they have the weapons to compete. They just don't have the horses, offense, defense, as much as they play solid football. So I think it's going to be one of those games where it drags for a while. Like, it's going to be competitive enough, and then the fourth quarter, the Eagles go up by 2 scores, and, maybe there's like a garbage time touchdown to make it close.
Yeah, the midway, because that's when the Giants, like, typically, I'm reading their game charts on, like, win probability. It's, like, still tight. And you have those, random spikes because they've had so many close games early on in the season, but it's right around the mid-third quarter where it's just like, it just kind of skews down a little bit, and there's a wave that they ride. And if they survive the third quarter, that's when they're like, okay, we're still hanging around. The interesting thing to me, more or less, is like another thing that kind of popped up in our Discord about this in particular, because, Dable has had a pretty tight relationship with Nick Sirianni. They were in Kansas City together. I think he was even on a conference call saying, we've been good friends. We keep in contact all the time. So they kind of come from the same cloth. They learn from the great people. Dable, I never understood why they held out as making him a head coach. Maybe just interviews poor or whatever. But do you think that he's going to put like Jonathan Gannon in knots, and that's why it's in close? Like they'll just have some of those things where like there's the Saquon 80-yarder that you're not supposed to give up or stuff like that. We kind of I think it's a killed JG game. It ends up being that the offense saves their ass. They pull away in the third quarter, and everybody's happy at the end of the day. But I think everyone's upset with Jonathan Gannon at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, a lot of running backs give them a hard time. They beat the shit out of Tennessee, so fine. They killed Derrick Henry, and we felt pretty good about that. But Saquon can really give you some problems, and I think he's got more variety at this point. Like,
shifty guys, specifically.
Yeah.
Not just power.
Yeah,
exactly.
You need that agility a little bit more, and that's why like Dameon Pierce killed them. I mean, it was the Houston Texans. They've one win all year. The Houston Texans killed them in the run game. So if they're gonna mix in a combination of Saquon and Daniel Jones, and they're just hammering that through this game, yeah, I mean their ability to break off some big plays, I think is real. It's going to be a question of, in part, how much is the Tennessee game like adjustments that fixed things, and how much of that was them just playing a good game? I mean, how many times this year have we talked about tackling with this team?
Yeah, a lot. And
right?
and who knows where that's. I really don't know what leads to bad tackling on most days. I've heard so many theories.
Practice
Practice is a major one. Not being up for this game is another one. Taking I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I think that the Eagles are in a great place. Maybe A.J. Brown was right all this time, and that one loss has helped them because they've kind of had 2 seasons. They're getting into the second gear mode of like, okay, we need to finish strong. We need to make sure that we take care of this first round bye. They clinched the playoffs with a win, too. So that's like weird to say with 13 games played, but like, 12-1 in the playoffs for sure. One more, and I think, or 2 more, and that's mathematically that's that. If you get to 14, that's the bye. I'm excited to see it for that. I don't think they'll have a problem getting up. But the only reason why I ask is because somebody asked a really good question in the Discord. I apologize. Do you think Jonathan Gannon's defense just kind of works, or does it need all this massive talent that they've put in there, which is kind of a loaded question to me. You always need something elite on a defense if it's going to be good. But to me, the fact that you have Reed Blankenship, Josiah Scott, the development of Marcus Epps, those are not superstar players. I'm sorry if we talked about this already, but to me, it just seems like that should be proof in the pudding that Jonathan Gannon shouldn't necessarily get killed by all this stuff. It seems like it's working out okay. Everybody understands where they need to be, plus the front seven's playing out of its mind. So that helps too.
Yeah, it's weird because I think the bar for Gannon is really, we think this should be the best defense in the league, unquestionably, and it's not. That's the problem. It's
close.
It's like they're a top 10 defense. That's great. You're a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense right now. That is a Super Bowl team.
Top 5 offense, too. Right?
Top
I think
5.
that's all you need.
So that should be the formula. We should be pretty happy with this. But when you see, look at all the layers of these guys, right? Secondary is the best we've ever seen in this city, at least to me. Defensive line, super good, all the depth. TJ Edwards has been rated the best linebacker in the league by PFF, if I saw that correctly.
Man.
So it's all 3 levels. It's just the talent is so immense that, man, why aren't you killing people? Why aren't you blowing out people? Why do some of these shitty teams get like 25 points or whatever it is?
Not enough to Kobe Dean, goddammit.
Well, and maybe that's it too. He looked great. I am buying the hype. I was buying the hype for sure.
I'm not buying all the hype, but I'm buying enough of it. And of course, Kaiser has limited practice on Monday or Tuesday's walkthrough. Keep an eye on that. I think that would automatically shove him in for more playing time there, so that should be fun.
Yeah.
It will always be funny to me that we will never accept that this is a good defense. And we're bitching about Micah Parsons, look how aggressive it is, look how good they are. And I'm going, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a different style. That's all. Because you have all these different horses, and Avonte Maddox coming back at the right time. Everybody else is coming back at the right time. So yes, I do think that Jonathan Gannon can make things work, and that's why we're going to enjoy his Panthers job. You think they go back-to-back defensive coordinators?
That would be so funny. But yeah, you look at it, because that's one of the differences, right? When you think about Dallas, for example, I want to make sure I got the guy's name right. I know it's Donovan. It's one of their safeties. I think it's Donovan. Because I was going to say Mitchell, but I think it's Donovan Smith.
Donovan Mitchell playing safety.
Donovan Wilson, I think, is what it is.
That's right.
So Donovan Wilson, he's got at least 4 sacks on the year. And it's like, oh, damn, they're blitzing that safety. Kearse has had a couple of sacks coming off the edge, another safety for Dallas. So, you want to see that sometimes. That's the thing that people look for. There's a natural rhythm to that of hey, once in a while we're going to see guys off the edge. It gives a different look, whatever. So I think people want a little more of that. But yeah, you got 42 sacks.
It's pretty.
It's
the most since it's almost a franchise record for the last like 20 years or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
and we're all guilty of it. That's the funny thing is we're all looking at it like, no, there should be more. Why aren't there more? And earlier in the year, there were certainly games like that. But now I feel like it is hitting that rhythm, and it's good. Which, by the way, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Like, thinking about Robert Quinn for a minute, because it's been a lot of talk this week of like, oh my God, this guy's such a dud. He goes on IR.
thank goodness, by the way, that it's an injury and not
Well,
like
see,
him
that's
just
how
being bad.
I feel. That was exactly my thought. I was like, oh, thank God he's hurt. Like, it's just good. Like, they feel comfortable enough with the players that they've got right now. He was clearly dealing with something. I'd be curious whether he got that as soon as he got here or he
Doesn't
had it
sound
in
like it to me.
Chicago. And so if they traded for him going like, oh, well, he's hurt, but he can play, and like we'll see, then and now they sit him until the playoffs essentially. Cool.
Pure speculation. I think it's a big reason why he wasn't playing in Chicago, because he was trying to get healthy. You have to pass a physical, and like, yes, he could play today, but his hamstrings are like 78% or like whatever it is. Like, if he moves too much, that makes sense with the very limited reps. It makes sense for everything he's trying to get right. And I agree with you completely. Get ready for the playoffs and let's go have some fun. We hope we can have some fun in the. I've never been to MetLife. Have you? This is my first time up there.
I did go there. This was great. There was a couple of years ago. There was a game where the Jets. I saw the Jets beat the Cowboys, and that was like a holy shit game. Like, there was no reason for the Jets to win that game whatsoever, but they did, and that was awesome. So I did do that. It's stadium.
It's a stadium.
It feels like a coliseum in some way. It's like really tall. It's very strange.
You
All
ever
the
been to the
seats
Rose
they
Bowl?
fit in there. No, I haven't been to the Rose Bowl.
That's what I imagine. It kind of looks like an NFL version of the Rose Bowl.
I drove by it, like actually drove by it
Yeah.
a couple days ago, and it just looks like a dump.
Yeah, like I would take the train up to New York, and you see it on the way, when you're taking NJ Transit, and I just go, God, who wants to go here? Who wants to hang out and get off at Penn? Is it Penn? I don't even know.
The caucus.
Sea Caucus. That's
Secaucus.
right. Secaucus. Sea Caucus, the Midwestern version of that. I don't know. But I'm at least we're on a bus. There'll be alcohol. There'll be refreshments and food, and that's why Vince always takes care of his PhillySportsTrips.com/Bell if you still want to join us for the tailgate, or if you're in Chicago. Just some other quick stuff. Everybody won awards this week. Fucking phenomenal. The back-to-back for Jalen Hurts. MVP chatter is still right there, just where we thought it would be. I know everybody's been talking about San Francisco since Jimmy G left and all that stuff. Purdy's got some moxie.
Brocktober. Iowa State legend.
He's fun. It's fun for now.
And most importantly, yes, indeed, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie did announce that Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks will be part of the Lincoln Financial Field Summer Tour coming in June. So if you're a fan of that, there's that. But, ladies and gentlemen, Desmond Ridder is starting after the bye week, and y'all going to know. I'm so glad that the Eagles didn't draft him or Justin Fields, just for the record, but Desmond Ridder might beat Tom Brady in the last game of the season, win that NFC South, and then I'll celebrate. So.
Oh, that would be the best. I would love that so
I doubt
much.
it happens, but there's a chance. So,
Chance, baby. Come on.
Vince Quinn, any final thoughts before we go to New York?
Baker Mayfield's a Ram. That's pretty funny. They're starting him. He signed like 2 days ago.
He's
They're like,
starting
yep,
tonight.
you're going to start. Which I feel whoever the third quarterback is, I feel so bad for that guy.
I think they're down to it, aren't they? Isn't it John Wolf? Or he's the backup.
Well, he's
That's
the
right.
backup. So whoever's been behind that to be like, oh, this Wolford's hurt, Stafford's out. This is my chance. I'll at
man.
least get this game.
You ain't ready.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, QB3 or $1.25 million for an actual starting quarterback. It's pretty nice. It's not bad.
No, it's great. But god damn, you want to try. You at least want a shot. And they're just like, no. We don't even know this guy, but he's going to play over you. It's devastating.
Am I reading too much into it that Matthew Stafford's like, I'm not coming back after this. This sucks. I've had 20 billion injuries. I've won a Super Bowl. I'm good.
Well, did you see the scale of his injury?
Yes, it looks really bad.
Yeah, they said he can't feel his legs. He has numbness in his
Jesus,
legs,
man.
and yeah, he might actually be done.
Please retire Matt Stafford. You have nothing left to prove, even though we both don't think you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And that's for another day. But Taylor Kredatus, anything to add before we say goodbye?
Eagles barely win. Giants bring you down the muck. That's pretty much every game that they have. And Eagles like to play at the same level as their opponents when they're away.
That sounds that is some expert analysis right there. So what he's saying is don't take the 7 or the 6.5.
Absolutely not.
But do go purchase one of these. I'd rather be watching the Birds corduroy hats at bellandthebirdmen.com. We will be right back here. Well, Tuesday, but we'll be having our post-game show in the parking lot or on the bus at MetLife Stadium. Can't wait to see you there. And fly Eagles fly as always. Okay, bye.